Good morning. I'm back at it. Time to take these two off because it's been overnight, so we know the gaskets are glued in place good. Time to get the manifolds on for the final time, which is going to be kind of a big moment for me because I'm kind of tired of lifting those up and down. All looks good, so let's get at it. Here it goes. This is kind of a big deal for me, hanging these manifolds up here for the last time, because as I say, they are heavy. I'm getting better at it though. I still want to tie my string on it to hold it up square until I get the bolts in, until I get the clamps on. Now the intake. Get a clamp in place. I gotta find another nut, and now I can take my rope off. And for me, that is a mighty fine sight. And silly me, I thought I was done with heavy stuff. Here's the carburetor. Now, I'm just hanging this on here temporarily. A little bit for, just to see how it looks. I haven't seen this carburetor on here since I started taking this thing apart about 15 years ago. And I'm kind of, because I don't have the heat box up here to bolt it to, I'm kind of deciding if I can just hang it from the manifolds. The original air cleaner is completely rusted to pieces, but I think I'll be making a support like the air cleaner did to support it from the bottom also. So I'm just temporarily hanging this on there. But once again, it looks good. So it's all looking mighty nice. We'll get at a few other details now. And here's the governor, which is all free. But originally this shaft was stuck. I spent a lot of time getting that freed up. I see I mushroomed the top a little bit. I'm going to have to dress that down with a file so the control arm can go back on it. And it looks to me, I don't know how I got it off. I must have just, yeah, that control arm was originally pinned. So, I mean, that part, this part I could drill out easy enough. Oh, and let's see. You can see the hole in the shaft there. Hopefully, I will be able to get that. I'm going to go around from the other side. Hopefully I'll be able to get that pin driven out of there. Yeah, I can barely see where the pin would be. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get that pin driven out of there. So I'm going to take this in the other building and see if I can save that ball socket. As you can see, that ball is worn considerably, has flat spots, and it's been brazed on, so you can tell it's been built up and ground down in the past, and the socket is very well worn. But the first started, I'm going to try and just get it hung together because I just don't have a lot of time, and I can always address this later. Let's see if it'll fit together. As you can see, it fits together. I can get and it stays in place. So for the first start, I'm just going to leave it as it is. When I say I don't have a lot of time, because I want to try and get this to Baraboo, and even if it's up there, I want to try and at least get it to fire at the show, because I've been waiting 50 years for this. So we'll keep at a few other things. Now I'm working on the oil lines. I have to put these elbows in. Put the elbow in the center main bearing cap. So here I am hooking up the oil lines. This one goes to the front main bearing. You know, it's like seems like any kind of flare fittings, always trying to get the threads to start. I got them started. I think I'm going to be cutting off or bending a wrench for tightening some of these. Now, before we snug this one up, to try and get the other end started. Well, I got the front oil line on. I have the center main oil line on. I have to get a wrench yet in there somehow to tighten that one. Now I'm going to work on getting the rear main oil line on. I'm finishing tightening up the oil pipes. So I have the oil pipes all in place. All I have left is the little line there that you see between the two big ones that goes to the oil pressure gauge. So we'll keep at it. Now I'm going to work I'm going to work on the oil pressure gauge line. The last one I have left, the little one. And this fitting you can see is cracked. This piece screws in the crankcase, and then the oil pressure line, that copper one, goes from the fitting in the bottom of the crankcase up to here. So I have to replace that, and I wasn't able to find anything locally that accepts that type of compression. So I'm going to convert it to this style compression fitting. It doesn't make any difference. So first I'll be taking that fitting out of there. First, I'll put this fitting in the back of the crankcase, right ahead of the flywheel. That's where the oil pressure gauge goes. I'll get that turned in tight. So I have that fitting turned in tight, pointing angled back so you can read the gauge from the operator's station. Now I'll work on putting the line on the inside. First I have to get the line started down here. I think I might have to take two hands in there to get that started. I got that line started there. Now I have to get this line bent up, hooked up to the line in here. I can actually see it a lot better from this side. So that's the line I have to try and get started. Oh. Oops, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get in there with both hands. Well, that line went on easy enough. So now I got to go around on the other side and make sure the line is routed so the crankshaft doesn't hit it. You see here, I got to move this line over. I have to move this line over closer to the big one so it isn't anywhere near the crankshaft. So that should do it. Pull it through once and see how close the crank comes to here. I might have to get this line bent over farther too. Crank a little farther, but it looks like it clears by 5/8 of an inch. So that should be no problem whatsoever. This one clears by plenty. Oh yes, it clears by plenty. So that's going to be it for tonight, I think. I have the oil lines all hooked up. And next I can put the sump on underneath. Sump on underneath. I can't see where the camera is pointing, so hopefully you see it. And then I'll put oil in it, and I can hook my remote oil pump up to where the sending unit goes and pressurize the system. That's going to be it for today, and I'm happy with the results again today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.